Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, ANITA FINLEY.
I'm going to bring up a subject today that a lot of people are not aware of. I am, because I was one of the fortunate people, and I don't know how I was so fortunate when none of my friends have this, but it's called life settlements. And I've searched for an organization now who can really talk about this, because although it's not complicated, it isn't just casual. It's not like just buying life insurance. It's a little bit different. So my expert is Fred O'Donnell. Also, his wife, who is a partner with him, JoANN, and they're all part of the O'Donnell Group in Delray Beach. So let's start off with you, Fred. I'm sure when you meet people and they ask you what you do and you tell them, they think, what does that mean?
They have no idea. It's amazing. Probably 85 or 90% of the people I talk to have no idea, and they're educated, they're well-to-do, but they have no idea what a life settlement is.
Why do you think that's true when everyone knows so much nowadays?
I don't know. It's amazing that this industry started with the AIDS in the 80s, and someone figured out this guy's going to be dead in 2 years. Hey, I'll give you this for your insurance policy, or do you have one? And that's how the whole thing got started.
You're absolutely right. They used to call it something else, I remember.
Viaticals?
Yes, that's what they did. And it was good for those people who were not going to live.
Right.
But the life settlement is a much bigger issue, because we know now, especially there are a lot of elders, a lot of people that have a big life insurance policy. They don't need it. Their kids don't need it. And then they worry about their money, and their money's sitting there.
Right.
So what should they do?
Well, sometimes, I tell them, listen, you can do a life settlement, or maybe you want to, go on trips or whatever. But there's a lot you can do, and you can donate to charity. You can give your policy to turn it over to charity. You can do a lot with your insurance policy if you don't need the money. Okay,
well, is it very involved? Let's get JoANN. It's JoANN.
Yes.
JoANN, let's get you involved a little bit, because women play such a great, important part in this. A lot of times, husband will come back and say, listen, I just heard about this thing. What do you think? And if a woman doesn't know about it, she says, right? Tell us what it is.
Well, I think the easiest way to describe it is that people don't realize that their insurance policy is an asset, similar to a piece of property. And in the past, people only thought that they had a couple of options, which was one, the death benefit that they would give to a beneficiary or a family member, or two, if they couldn't afford it anymore, they would just say, let's the policy lapse, we can't make a payment. Or three, they would say, well, we've put some cash into our policy and we can cash the policy out, but that amount is minimal. But what a life settlement does is it allows a person to go to a life settlement broker, and they in turn take that policy out to what they call a provider, someone that can buy the policy. Then the broker comes back to the individual and they tell them what their policy is worth. And what we found over the years, and not only from us, but the Wharton School of Business and the London School of Business, who've all done all this research, that people on average get about 4 to 5 times more than they would if they just cashed it out. But due to the fact that the laws are now changing, people have to be informed. We now have 48 states who now require very specific laws around life settlements and viaticals. And now that those laws are becoming, people like your accountants and your financial advisors are all now required to talk about this topic called life settlements.
Fred, well, that's very good. I'm glad that JoANN talked about that, because I was thinking as JoANN was talking, is this like an auction in a way with life?
Yes.
Because they go where you can't, and that you would go where you know you'll get the best for those people, right?
Right. It's a group of providers, and you put it out for bid. And it's probably after about a week or 2 weeks, it's slowed down. They come to a number. Somebody comes up with a little bit more money, but then it stops. And that's basically, we turn to the person and say, listen, this is how much you can get for your policy. Would you like to do it or not? And there's a 14-day kind of insurance policy on it that after 14 days you say, you know what, I want my insurance policy back. Here's your money back. So they have 14 days to make a decision once the transaction has taken place.
And Fred, you've been doing this for 12 years, so can you give us an example of an insurance policy that someone came with and what kind of money they got? Let's really make them drool, Fred.
Well, I've got a client now that he's 78 years old, and he's somewhat just had open heart surgery, and they will probably offer him his $500 policy. He will probably, now it's a guess of mine. I hate saying what the number is. They come back and say, "You told me you get this much."
Yeah, well, we're not going to say anybody's name.
But they're out of 500,000, they'll probably get 300,000. So,
and if it weren't for you, he would probably let it go, or his family, if he passes away, gets the money.
Well, we met him at an expo, and he said, "What's this all about?" He didn't know. He had no idea what it was. And all of a sudden, I'm at his house like 3 days later filling out the forms.
So, this is interesting you say that. So not only are you a businessman, but you're a humanitarian. You're doing something for a human being. And I don't want to run out of time, so I want to make sure everyone knows how to get you. So if they call 561-351-8308, will that get?
That will get me.
I'll do it again. 561-351-8308, and you can actually go to their website, which is FJOLifesettlements.com. F is in Frank, but Fred, it is Fred. FJOLifesettlements.com. So if you're listening and if you're even unsure of what you're doing, but you have a insurance policy, why don't you call and speak to JoANN or speak to Fred and ask? I guess they can come to your office, or you can go to their home.
Anywhere they'd like us to go.
We're happy to meet them, go to their homes, whatever they're most comfortable.
We drove to Tampa 2 weeks ago.
Well, of course, because you're licensed in the state of Florida to do this.
Right.
That shows you have passion. I like that. Well, I know people who are really struggling, and those are the people that I hope are listening to this and will do something. If you're struggling, you need money. And as you said at the beginning, they have no idea that their life insurance is an asset. They think their family's just going to get it when they die, right?
Right.
So let's make it into let's make it into an asset.
That's
now.
Right.
Because it's really important. Life settlement. See, that's the term. Is that correct?
Yep. Well, it's in Florida. Viatical and life settlement mean the same thing. I don't know why the state of Florida does it, but they call it viaticals.
Okay, but life settlement, people understand that. So how much are you dealing with people if they have $100,000 or if they have $5 million? Does it matter?
That doesn't matter. We have providers that can handle $75,000 all the way up to $5-10 million. So there's no one that we can't help.
And they don't have to meet any criteria. It's really their life. Why don't you talk about that, JoANN?
Yes. When you go through the process, it's really very simple. You get some initial background information. We ask them, they have to do medical releases so we can look at their medical records and some background, and then an additional form that they agreed to work with us, just like any other life settlement broker in the state. And then what we do is determine their viability, and based on their viability, we help make a recommendation. Maybe this isn't the best time for them to do a life settlement, or it could be a great time for them. And then we take them through the process. And then one thing I do want to say is that looking for a life settlement broker, the transparency is critical. So along the process, we constantly communicate, and we also let the client know any offer they're given. It's not for us to decide. We help them decide.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. So this is a funny question. I always do funny things. What if someone has two policies? Is that unheard of?
No, some people have 3-4 policies.
Oh, wait. So I thought, should I really ask them that question? Because some people did buy a lot of insurance policies. They don't even know. They just started buying them. They didn't remember.
Say maybe 30, 40 years ago, they took out a life insurance policy. Then 10 years later, they bought another one. There's people out there with 3, 4, 5, 6. That's not the norm.
No,
but it is out there.
So it's really an investment on the people buying it. I guess they're figuring out when are these people going to pass away, and then they'll figure out how much. So that's
exactly.
really it's a financial arrangement.
Exactly.
But the person who's really going to benefit, as far as I don't care about the investor, sorry.
Yes.
The person I care about really is the person that has a life insurance policy, and they need to maybe help their family members. They need money for their illness or...
Well, the long-term care people that need, it's amazing. She just got bumped 20% this year, and she got bumped another 20% next year. That's crazy. It's crazy.
But you need the money. And why should you have this piece of paper when you can do it? So what we want to do is spend time on educating people. Yes. And if you will go into the Boomer Times magazine coming in August, you will see an advertisement for them. If you don't get this, but you can always call their office again. It's 561-351-8308, or go to their website, fjolifesettlements.com, because you'll be able to tell your family members, because if you say, oh, I'm going to this insurance brokerage firm and they're going to help me with my life and settlements, they probably won't know what you're talking about.
Right.
Look up Google. Go to Google and look up life settlements. It's very legitimate.
Yep.
And I don't want anyone to think, because as I start out the show, my husband and I did this probably 10 years ago. The company, so right. It was a long time ago. And we really did very well. Now, my husband was 83 at the time, and so at the time we did it, they thought, oh, that's great. He just passed away 5 months ago, so he lived for 90. He lived until 93. So I have to tell you, that was a good thing, right? We did very well with it, and I would recommend it, highly recommend it. And I don't have anybody anymore. The person that did it does not live here anymore. So I would highly recommend you, Fred and JoANN, to work with them and see about it. They're not going to charge you anything when you go to talk to them, because they have a product and you have a product, and they're going to put it together.
That's it.
Absolutely.
That's absolutely.
What did I miss, JoANN?
I don't know. I think the one thing I can't emphasize enough is the education, because what makes Fred and I very sad is 85 to 90% of all people who have a life insurance policy either let it lapse or surrender it for less than they could get. And we just think that instead of giving the insurance companies $112 billion a year back, we would like to see it in the hands of people who need it and want it.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It's insurance policies are totally confusing to me and to everybody else. You'd get it, you put it in a drawer, you never think about it again. Am I right?
Yep, it's unbelievable.
There are courses that people take on life insurance, but I never have seen a course on life settlements.
You have to get your license, your
life insurance.
Your life insurance license.
Oh, okay. So it is a part of the life insurance,
yes,
right.
Of course.
Yes.
Right.
But why don't people advertise life settlements? I don't see very many.
They just started to. Coventry now is on the air on CNBC and Fox News, and their phones don't stop ringing.
See, I think you're better off with a smaller company like you.
Absolutely.
Because you're going to be very personal.
Right.
You're going to know them.
Right.
And that's really an important issue. The life settlement was interesting. I will tell you something else too, which I got a call every month. I got a call every month to see if Mr. Finley was there.
Oh,
isn't that funny? I'm really a part of this whole thing.
Yes,
you didn't know, did you?
No.
And after my husband passed away, I never got a call. Will they check? Do they have a list or something?
I guess some kind of records.
Yeah, but it was it came at a very critical time. It was absolutely fabulous. It was
you got the right time.
It was a big policy, so I was really happy about that. Now, what did you do before you sold life settlements? You're a young kid. You must have done a lot of things.
I was a commodities trader in Chicago. So I owned a seat at the Chicago Board of Trade, and I traded commodities for myself.
Oh, so you really have
been
30,
35 years.
Is that right? And that probably was a lot more strenuous than this.
Everybody says that, but I couldn't wait to go to work.
Is that right?
I love to go to work.
Well, you had a beautiful wife, and so, she was good.
Right.
Well, I really loved having you on the show. Let's hope that we can do some more and that life settlement becomes on everybody's tongue and they do it. I'm really looking forward to that.
Well, we really appreciate this, and especially with your knowledge.
Yeah, thank you.
It's helping to get the word out.
Right.
And the deal you got 10 years ago.
Yeah, right. Okay, well, we'll see you again.
Thank you.